Hang on a sec. Let's try that again. Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 273. Today, Lisa Hendrickson joins us, and she's from Call That Girl. She's from callthatgirl.biz. And this may be one of the only pink, or one of the few pink computer repair technician sites that you guys see. So there it is there. I'm showing it up on the video. Yes, Lisa's a girl, and she's in the computer repair business. So let me introduce her right now. Lisa, hi. How you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, how you started it, and what it's like being a girl in this business. Is it any different than, or do you get any type of different reaction from people than, the normal guy in a chair, usually with glasses and possibly a pocket protector type of deal?
Possibly. Well, you know what? I got started in 1995 back in the computer lab at school. I fell in love with this thing that was getting really popular called email. And I wanted to know more about it. And the first college I went to, I said, hey, can you guys give me some email? And they said, we only give out email to people that have class needs for it. And I said, well, this ain't going to work for me. I really want to do email. So I transferred colleges so I could get to a college that gave everybody email.
You transferred college just because you wanted email?
Pretty much, yep. I actually went and made complaints. I'm like, this is 1995. Why won't you give me an email account? And they might regret it to this day, but anyway. So I went to my new college, and the first day I drove up, and I registered for class. And I said, where's the computer lab? I wanted this email account. And I got to the lab, and I pretty much stayed there. I was like a done deal. I did the old vax.edu TechNet site, not TechNet, but the little chat telnet sites.
Right.
We used to do, and I worked on the VAX and the AS400s, and kind of helped the gurus out there, all the guys in the server room. And within a year, I asked them, I was like, can you guys start paying me? Because it was one of those things where I just was kind of there enough, and I was helping enough that they brought me on as a lab attendant, and pretty much graduated 3 years later with just a lot of software skills. I didn't really get in the servers much or work on the hardware. So that's where I kind of found my niche, was working in software.
Right.
Which, if you notice, Call That Girl seems pretty software support-ish.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of hardware in there, and I don't try to misrepresent my company or what we do. So in a nutshell, I graduated college and went to the corporate world, and I always took help desk jobs. And those were a perfect fit for me with my experience. I supported the corporate environment. I became a server admin within a year of working at my first job. I got all the power user, responsibilities, and worked on Exchange and did a lot of Outlook support.
Right.
And then probably about 3 or 4 years later, I started finding a swerve in my career. I went to work at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
And where I worked my way up and became a third-level Outlook support specialist for 40,000 users. And that kept me very busy.
Sounds like it would.
Yeah, especially when you're third level, you're working with the server, the server guys and all the end users and all the transition teams. And excuse me, my phone is going off. And there's a lot of work at that level.
Hang on, Lisa. I keep losing you.
Probably because my phone's ringing.
Okay. Are you on wireless or wired?
I'm wired. Okay. We can tell everybody why my office is so echoey if you want to. I'm sitting alone in my 1,000-square-foot office where I don't have any furniture here yet, so I'm kind of battling this echo.
But I keep losing you on a signal. I don't know if your mic is clipping or not. I'll tell you what. You have the headset, right, that you're wearing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's try using the mic again. What did you try to do? Put it in the pink? Did you put it in the pink spot?
Yeah. Let me try the back.
Try the back and then change tools, options in Skype, and go to audio settings.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, better?
No, because did you change the audio settings in Skype?
Not yet. Hold on, I have to walk around. 1 second.
Okay.
All right, tools options, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's only giving me the USB audio.
And
There.
what are you on, Windows?
Yeah, 7.
Okay, tools,
Let me
options.
try this.
Under audio settings, the only thing under microphone is USB audio, it says.
I just changed the order, so that didn't help.
What are your options under mic?
Microphone, USB audio. I didn't get the other one.
No, it's nothing. Weird. Why is that happening? Oh, maybe the sound card's not. Actually, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Because you're coming through the output on your motherboard to your headset, right?
Yeah, I'm in the back. Yep. So.
All right.
How's this?
You sound okay now, but you're clipping a little bit. Like I'm thinking that maybe the mic started clipping when you get too loud. Maybe you're too close to the mic, and then it goes. Skype actually just turns off at that point. So.
Okay. Do you want me to hold it back a little bit?
Wherever you have it, like right there. Just let's try it from where you are right there. That sounds okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Ready? You can just continue whenever you want. I'll just.
Okay. Well, so I left Mayo Clinic because I kind of felt my career was getting halted a little bit. I wanted to move on, and I moved to Minneapolis again. And I'm sure a lot of techs have been through this. You take the great job, you think you can really do well, and then they call what's the popular term, all hands meeting. So let's have an all hands meeting. Everybody has to participate. And it's basically, we got bought out and bye-bye my job.
Really?
Yeah, so I was kind of really disappointed and said, you know what, I really don't want to do this anymore. I'd been in it 7 years and just really needed to do something else. So I did jump to another position where, you know, I got let go from it and I was pretty happy about it because that's the day I started Call That Girl Up full time.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to ask you. So what was your impetus for starting the site? What made you want to go out and start your own business? I guess because you got laid off, huh?
Well, I actually started Call That Girl part-time in 2004 when I worked at Mayo.
Okay.
I was just kind of having fun, like doing the side jobs with the doctors at their homes and just fixing basically routers and making network shares for their VPN and setting up Outlook and little things like that. But, you know, it was good side money. And then I kind of Called That Girl to sleep for a while. And then.
Why'd you do that?
Because I actually got a pretty decent job in Minneapolis working for Department of Defense subcontractor. Okay. We handled the Navy Marine Corps network. So it was kind of a good job until they got bought out, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so then I decided to do Call That Girl. And you know what? I think the day I got let go from this second job that I don't even want to talk about, it was just one of those things that I said, I can do this.
Right.
And I have the time, and now I finally have the chance where I can risk it. And it had always been a dream, but it just never had the shot, you know? Because if you're at a full-time job making good money, you're not going to quit it to go be poor.
Exactly.
And, you know, and it was really just perfect timing. And I didn't know anything about building a business. I didn't know anything about marketing, advertising, quarterly reports. I mean, nothing like that. And it was just all like the first couple months was like, I'm going to do this. But you had to, you know, start from nothing. So I really was like an open plate. Like I could do anything I wanted.
So how did you, it looks like obviously it's a success. So how did you go from nothing to where you have now?
Well, I think that the first 5 months were probably the hardest and the easiest at the same time. And since I didn't have any clients, it's pretty much like I could brainstorm every which way but loose. Like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And I didn't want to spend any money. So I found this thing called networking. And outside of the computer world, in the business world, networking is a big deal.
Right.
Networking is where, you go to an event and you take your business card and you meet people and you try to tell them what you do. You find out what they do, and, you have all their business cards, and you can either try to refer them business, which is what they want, or you can try to get them as a client, which is what we want.
Right.
And many times you go to these events and you're going to get people that try to sell you or want you to sell products for them, become in these pyramid scams or multi-level marketer.
Right.
But you can feed through those pretty quick and, eliminate those folks. But, I just started doing the networking events. That really helped me a lot.
Like, how could somebody find these networking events? Where did you find out about them?
I used to go to Google and type in networking events, Minneapolis.
Cool.
Yeah, or then I'd go to women's events. I mean, those are really big, those women's events. But for men, just to go to basic networking events, that's where, you get to meet especially if you're doing commercial work in the tech repair business.
Right.
Those are key people for you to meet.
Right.
It's usually someone in sales or product development, or they have decision-making, skills, or not skills, but, they can get to the boss and say, hey, I met this guy, he does a really great job, and let's talk to him about taking over our server, network, whatever.
Right. So, yeah, that's a great tip. That's a great tip. We haven't brought that up too much. We talk about about Google AdWords a lot.
No, I don't use those at all.
Cool.
Not ever.
Cool. So you just punch it in Google, find networking events, go. You bring business cards, and then you talk to people, and you have like a little pitch you do, or what?
Kind of. It's called the elevator speech, where you get 30 seconds. I guess according to etiquette, you're supposed to just keep it to 30 seconds of, oh, hey, this is, excuse me, we'll start like this. My name is Lisa. I own Call That Girl. I fix computers. I mean, it's pretty much a nutshell. That's all I do. And then the other person will say, oh, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I have an accounting business. And that's when you're supposed to generate a conversation to find out how you can help each other. Like the accountant can say, well, who does your accounting? Well, I do my own, but I probably should have somebody do it. Yeah. And then you could say, who fixes your computer? And they always say, my brother. And we always know that we're better than the brother. Right. So that's when you can say, well, what about if your brother can't fix it? And you try to just be conversational about getting them on as a client. Huh. And then there's just tons of other tricks that you can do after that to get them as a client outside of the face-to-face networking event. But I highly recommend you go to the free ones first and just feel them out. Right. Then you could start going to the ones that are 20 or 30 bucks for the lunch and the whole big, showcase kind of. There's a lot of them out there that aren't worth the money, and there's a lot of them that are worth the money. So I always go as a tester first, and usually they let you come as a guest, and then you can go. But you know what, Steve? I think the biggest networking event you can probably do is join LinkedIn.
Really?
And I've made tons of money there. And I think my last count was 260 clients, and I've made over 60,000 the last time I checked.
Wow. Okay. Well,
a big tip.
That's awesome. Let's. I guess we got to put this in perspective first, because I'm trying to think of it like up until you said LinkedIn, I'm thinking, okay, computer repair technician, and I'm thinking local. This is a local business, but no, you do on-site, or you do remote work, right?
Yeah. So I do home visits too, and I go to the homes, and I have a store I just opened too. So. Oh,
okay. Well, then you do local then, because if you do remote, I guess you're untethered. You could pretty much be all over the world.
I do have clients all around the world.
Okay, so is LinkedIn good for that then, I'm guessing? Or both?
You know what? I think if you are a one-man computer repair shop and you're looking to get clients in your area, LinkedIn is very helpful in the sense that it's kind of like an online chamber of commerce that's free. You can go there and meet other people in your neighborhood or your community and figure out who they are, and you can actually join the groups they're in, figure out what's happening in your area, and many times those groups will have face-to-face events. So then you already have something in common, which is called LinkedIn. So if you feel uncomfortable, you always can talk about that. But it's even better because you can meet all these people online before you even meet them in person.
Right. That sounds great.
I mean, it's so awesome. And there's just tons of people on LinkedIn. It's just insane. I mean, I've been trying to tell people for the past 2 years that if you don't know how to use LinkedIn, you really should, because there's so many ways to use it to make money. And if you're a repair shop that's struggling and you're not doing remote support, you're going to keep struggling because remote support is really where it's at right now.
Okay.
It is. It's popular and it's fast.
I want to get into that in like a minute,
Okay.
but just for let's go back to LinkedIn because just for me personally, I would like to know, so you sign up, it's free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of steps do you do to like, start to learn how to use it? How do you use it efficiently and effectively?
Well, the first thing I did was I created a profile, which is what, everybody should do. And then you fill out the profile, which is kind of like your online resume.
Yeah.
And then you go and it says you have to fill it out to 100%, which you don't have to, but you should. And then you start uploading your current contacts that you have. You can put in people's business card email addresses, people from your other online social networks. You could put in your clients. Is anybody you have an email account for, you could upload it, and then you start to build your network. And so like when I first started, I had about 40 people, which, you know what? When I first started, I thought 40 people was a lot.
Right.
I've got 3,000 now, and I've met a good majority of those people.
Wow.
Because I'm a networking maniac. So, Anyway, you start small, and trust me, I started email marketing at 40 people. And I had my first email marketing out, and I remember I sent it to 40 people, and I was kind of irritated that like 20 didn't open it. Now I'm be thankful if I had a 50% open rate,
So these email addresses that you have, they're not all LinkedIn. They all have to have LinkedIn accounts or what?
Well, it comes to twofold where you can invite them, and if they already have a LinkedIn account, then they approve it, and because they're already in there. But if you have to invite them, then it's a little more struggle because they're like, oh, should I sign up or not? It's just one of those online things. But trust me, if they're not on LinkedIn anyway, you're not going to probably work with them much online anyway.
Right.
So you want to work with the people that are on LinkedIn because the valuable part about them is that they have other connections that you don't know about.
Huh.
So it's kind of like that telephone chat with the string thing. Like, I'm going to go talk to Steve, and now I know, Steve's well connected. Now I need to know who's connected to him.
Right.
Because we could do business. And that's how a lot of it is. It's a big referral base, kind of.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, the LinkedIn is just insane. It's pretty big. But if you want to check out my profile on LinkedIn to see a really good one, if you go to LinkedIn and in the people search, type Lisa Hendrickson, and I'm at the very top. And you're going to see that I've really put a lot of time into this, but with all the money I've made, it makes sense. I've got 138 testimonials. Well, it's actually called recommendations from clients or people I've trained in classes or worked with. And, not that that's, super impressive, but it's kind of like you can, like if someone wants to check me out, they can go see the testimonials of other people already on LinkedIn. So it's actually like a proven testimonial. There isn't like, Lisa did a great job from David F. in Sacramento, where you never know who David F. is. These are real people that you can check out. So
because they're on LinkedIn too. I see. Yeah,
and then, I think I've done a few things outside of the norm of making LinkedIn work for me. I helped, I founded a project that helped the unemployed last year. We helped hundreds of people learn LinkedIn to try to find work or network to new jobs. And that gave me press like around the country. It was really huge. It really helped me. But even after doing that, I still didn't make money off LinkedIn till 9 months later. It took a long time. So LinkedIn, just to clarify here, that's not like you get on it and you're going to make money. You really have to work it and do a lot of it, do a lot in it every day to kind of start to see the money start coming in. It took me 9 months. After that, I have 2 to 7 clients a week easy from it. And that's a good return on almost no investment other than my time.
No, LinkedIn's awesome. This is a great. I'm really happy you're talking about this because we never talk about this.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, this
is
cool.
What I know well.
So is Call That Biz? That's your main thing? Or I'm sorry, I keep saying it. Okay. Is callthatgirl.biz? Is that your main thing now, or do you do it like? Because LinkedIn, you have a lot of stuff you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've done a lot in the past because I had the time.
Right. Okay.
So when I had time to kill, like me helping the unemployed was a perfect way to give back when I had slow business. It was right before Christmas, and I'd only been doing a few jobs a week, and I was getting kind of scared, So I said, how can I give back to this economy? It was 2 years ago. It was just starting to dive, and the whole thing ended up helping my business.
Wow. That's great.
So then I started, there's a group in LinkedIn called Linked Minnesota, and it's a group in LinkedIn that I started helping right out of the gate, and I was a manager, and we have 15,000 members now, and I'm the owner of the group.
Yeah, I see
So,
that.
I mean,
What does that group do?
We have monthly luncheons every 2 weeks. Actually, we have luncheons every 2 weeks. We have social hours once a month. We do two big extravaganzas that have between 300 to 500 people at them twice a year. I've got a I'm sorry?
It's a networking event then.
Yeah, pretty much. It's online and face to face, and we have I have about 20 volunteers working for me. So that's kind of like my part-time job, and you can see why. It's worth it, to have. And it's kind of like, it's almost like a real networking group, except it's a LinkedIn group. But we do really well. We do give back. We host a lot of nonprofit events, and we have a member directory on our website, and we've got everybody working for us as a volunteer. There's no money, so it's pretty cool.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Really cool. So would you say like LinkedIn is like a Facebook for professionals? Is that what it kind of is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's why I tell people, if you think you're going to make money off Facebook, I don't know. If you are in the commercial work, there's so much work on LinkedIn. I mean, it's really all of your clients right there. Facebook is, I think the people in the professional world are looking at Facebook as for fun.
Right.
Right. I'm not. It's all money.
That's cool. Good. Great tips.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into remote support then. Why do you say that is, where it's at?
Well, you know what? When I first started out, I didn't do remote support. I did, just like every other tech, I had my shop in my basement.
Okay.
And I built it slowly. And, I had a lot of learning. And after about 6 months, I was starting to get really frustrated. So I was like, okay, I need to get out of my basement. So I went and got an office. Sorry, my phone's going to ring again. Everybody's calling my girl. So I went and got an office downtown Minneapolis, and I didn't have, the excuse me. In Minnesota,
hang on. Do you need to get that or?
No.
Okay, all right. Let me just.
It only rains twice.
Okay. Go ahead.
When in the Minnesota winters, it can get really brutal here. So to me, it was. I remember the first remote job I had. This lady lived like 30 miles away, and it was snowstorm, and I said, you know what, let's try just me talking you through it. And I knew exactly what her problem was. So I literally laid on my couch and talked her through a 45-minute troubleshooting. And I just sat there, and I knew it in my head so well that I walked her through it, and it was done. It was fixed. And I was like, why should I be driving out somewhere 30 miles away to fix something that took 45 minutes,
I could just picture like that cognition. You're like laying on your couch and you just finished a job and you're like, I just did a job on my couch.
I know. It even got better than that because that's how I did them for about 3 months. Is I just started doing them remotely, just hanging out on my couch, relaxing, And then I started, get this, remember, I didn't know anything about owning a computer repair shop, like nothing.
Right.
And for me to find all of you guys online through all the resources I've done, it was all new to me this year. I did not talk to anybody else. I have very few friends that own repair businesses here. So I didn't even know about buying remote tools.
Oh, really? You were just talking on the phone to people.
I did for 3 months. But, I worked at jobs that had remote tools, but we just didn't use them.
Right.
Because I worked with really, Cisco engineers that didn't want me to do that. So anyway, so I decided to look into remote tools, and I found a few, and I tested some, and then I found finally one of the bigger well-known ones, and I decided this is it. And I started just turning all these calls into remote jobs. I have a very strict interview process. And if you pass the interview process, we book the appointment, and we have a process for that, and it's really friendly. And people, I've remoted into 80-year-old ladies' computers, and teenagers I've helped. The parents are like, talk to the teenagers. So I think the interview process really nails it down. And even if people say like my internet doesn't work, 2 years ago I would have said bring it in. Now I'm like, well, let's troubleshoot it. And I get their internet back on, and I remote in. It comes down to just knowing the users and their problems. And I think a lot of people don't have the patience to sit and try to go, okay, now go here, now go there.
Yes, yes.
You know?
Hey, that takes a lot of patience. I know what you mean about that. What's your interview process like? And then if you want to tell us what program you're using or not.
Oh yeah, I use Log Me In.
Okay.
And I use Log Me In Rescue, so I get all 10 seats. And you know what? Anytime during a day, I could be remoted into between 3 and 5 computers.
10 seats.
And,
How much does that cost a month?
I think I pay 100.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
But I'm up for renewal on the contract. And I just called their salespeople and said, look, 2 and 3 more seats for me, because I just hired on 2 more techs. I said, this isn't going to work for me at this cost, so let's negotiate. Otherwise, I'll look somewhere else, because I'm going to be having lots of seats eventually. So they laughed and said, okay, well, you know what? I'm done in November. I might as well look, So anyway, an interview process for me is like someone that calls and says, I'm having problems with, let's just say the standard one. My internet doesn't work, and I think I probably have a virus.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, you and like the other many calls I get during the week. So the first thing I say is, well, you know what, for the most part, I could probably troubleshoot that. So let's, if you want to work with me for like 15 minutes to get the internet going, all I need is for you to just walk through a few things, and then I can remote in. And they're like, sure. I mean, my rates are $75 an hour. And a lot of times, depends on, it might even be a virus, it just depends. So we just figured out, and my average support call is about $105.
Okay.
So it all depends. And
so you don't round up the hours then? You charge like per minute, or?
I charge for the time I'm on their computer.
Okay.
So like I was saying earlier, I'm on 3 to 5 a day, or excuse me, at one time. It's because I specialize in computer cleanings, which is kind of like the computer maid service. So when people call and they're like, my computer's slow, I'm like, oh, gotcha. Well, the average is $75, but we might be on for 2 hours.
I see.
Because we run scans and stuff like that. So. Right. So they're prepared, and we track the time, so we know exactly like if it was 50 minutes or 100, and then we bill them per how much we run on their computer. And we just start bringing on a Macintosh technician now to do remotes. So you would not believe how many Macs I remote into.
Really?
Yeah, I really need to have that Mac support on now, because there's a lot of people switching over.
Oh yeah.
So
you're happy with Log Me In then?
Yeah, I am pretty happy with them, I mean, I've seen other forums where people talk about their tools, and I get really nervous switching my company over at this point. All my clients are very adjusted to it. They know how to do it. They've got it down they put in the code on my website. If you look at my website on this remote support tab, if you notice, I have a client agreement form there.
Let me see.
And that people have to read. And then they go to, one sec. And then they go and they fill out the agreement form.
Where is that on your site? Oh, remote
it's
support.
In the remote support. Yep.
I see.
Yep. And then they fill out the client agreement form, which we talk a lot about data backup. People, you know what? I don't care what they say. Yep, I back up. 9 times out of 10, they're not backing up. So that's actually one of the things we do anyway. We discuss their data, and then we actually have them show us where they're backing up, because usually their old external drives aren't working. And I'm like, hey, you haven't really been backing up since May 2009.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I thought it just says it does it. I go, no, it really don't. So, but that's just a bonus, since we're a software support. We make sure we cover them with malware bites if they need it. I'm a retailer. I have an affiliate with them.
Cool. And
we do Mozy for online backup. We're now using Dropbox, and we use Mozy. What else?
You like Mozy? Do you like using Mozy?
Yeah, I really do like it. It's so easy to configure, and I've had so far no bad luck. My new favorite is Dropbox. Wow, I really have been liking that, and my clients are loving it.
Really?
Well, I would have to say that probably half my clients are SOHOs, the small office, home office folks.
Okay.
And they want IMAP'd Outlook. They want Malwarebytes license. They want Mozy Online Backup, and they want Dropbox. And to them, and they want Google Sync for their calendar. After that, they're like in heaven.
Really?
Yeah.
How do
So
you
just setting up all
present
this.
that? How do you present that to them?
Well, because I already check them out on LinkedIn, so I already can tell what kind of client they are.
LinkedIn
So then
again.
I'm like, yeah, so then I'm like, well, they're a Soho, so they probably work from home and they probably have two computers and they're probably an iPhone app freak. And, I can tell what they want. And so when they call in for certain things, I say to them, well, look, you're using Pop Mail in one Outlook and you're doing it on another. And I'm like, you might as well have them IMAP'd because you're probably going through the same headache I went through forever, which was
Right.
go delete a bunch of emails in one, then the other, it's open on the other and they're still there.
Right.
So it's really called just making your life easier. And you know what? A lot of people want the whole package and some just want one thing, but it's kind of like our little upsells, I guess, but
Yeah.
not really.
Well, I mean, probably some of those guys don't even know what's out there. I mean, I think the email is a good lead-in. You say, well, look, you could do IMAP with email, and then, oh, have you heard about Dropbox? Have you heard about Mosey? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Dropbox, is it only allows you 2 gig, but I figure that that's enough to get all your important documents moved over, and I don't hold a lot of stuff in mind, so
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of how between the interview process and then we take the call and we do analysis.
Lisa, are you there? I lost you. Hang on, guys. Just got to get her back.
We're back.
You back? Okay.
All of a sudden I heard this really weird like water drizzle go down.
Really?
Yeah, it went like blue, blue, blue.
That must have been Skype hanging up.
Yeah.
Let me play you back where it cut you off at, okay?
Okay.
Here's your last thing you said.
Yeah. The documents moved over, and I don't hold a lot of stuff in mind, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of how between the interview process and then we take the call and we do analysis.
That's where you left off.
Oh, okay.
Want to take it from there?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
That's where we kind of take the call and do analysis on what the user needs. And I don't really remember if I said this or not, but what it comes down to is we're almost a personal assistance company, but yet we troubleshoot and try to give better solutions for people. And I think that, it's like, no offense to the computer repair shops out there, but that's really an untapped market I'm seeing right now. And that's why I think Call That Girl will do pretty well. Because
so you're not like normal tech out there. You're more geared towards making things easier for people.
No, I'm a software repair shop.
Okay.
I mean, I do just the same things that the hardware shops do when it comes to operating systems, drivers, repairing, and we do minor hardware here.
Do you?
I mean, minor. I mean, I've always been the one to raise my hands and say, yes, I don't do motherboard work and I don't tear apart laptops. And honestly, it gives me a headache, the thought of tearing apart a laptop. And I'm better off hiring a kid to do that than for me to waste 2 hours being frustrated. So.
Right. Well, yeah, if you don't like it, then that's one thing.
And that's why I don't think a lot of people understand, but the thing is for people to just misunderstand software support is that we do fix things all day long.
Sure.
We are fixing problems, and yes, they might seem minor, but I've got a lot of skills with a lot of applications, and I've worked in many corporate environments and worked on, lots of servers, and I understand things. So to me, it's just kind of different that someone's like, oh, you really can do a business like that. It's like, yeah, and I'm busy.
It's great. I mean, software is great because it's virtual. I mean, there's no heavy lifting needed.
No.
It's like
no.
What?
I can lift computers and 70-pound monitors, but
I don't
what's
mean
the
to
point?
I don't mean to invalidate. Exactly. If I say anything, I don't mean to invalidate anything. It's kind of coming out. It's kind of coming out wrong here because I'm a laptop guy.
We can segue to that final question of what does it feel like to be a woman in a man's world?
No.
It's perfect timing.
No. It's just I like where we're going with what you're doing because a lot of techs that they do more hardware, a lot of hardware. I mean, they do virus removal, but they do a lot of hardware. So I like talking to somebody who's likes software more than hardware. That's not how I am.
No, and that's what, when I first started talking to the guys online, they just didn't get me. But you know what? I'll be honest. I get 400 hits a month from the Tech Nibble. And I think it's because people are interested in what is she up to.
Right.
And I'm in there posting along with everybody else, but I'm not so much in the hardware forums. But I mean, honestly, it's like, I don't think the old days of the computer repair shop are the same.
I think it's very interesting, especially this untapped niche you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of people want my opinions and how to help them do that. And I'm like, really, you have a couple things that you like doing. One is talking on the phone, being patient. And, if you think you can multitask in a computer repair shop, well, when I'm remoted into 3 to 5 computers, what do you think I'm doing?
Right.
I'm doing the same thing you are, except I'm being smart and saying, okay, that's going to run for 45. That's like putting the pizza in the oven, and then I come back and check on it, And then you do your follow-ups with people, and you give your great support, and then you always close out with a receipt that says, we have a referral plan. I mean, really, it's just the whole process and procedure of doing it. But you got to make sure you have really strong people that like talking to people. That's really what it is. And I know a lot of technicians don't, because I know they don't.
Right. They say, they tell, bring your computer in, drop it off, and then leave. And then I'll work on it for a day or whatever and give it back. And so,
and you know what? If you looked at my work order for my shop, you'd even go, oh my gosh, she's even so different than repair shops, because all the questions I would ask you in a remote support are on my work order. That's how perfect I am with that. Like, I get your password, all the applications that are special. I mean, it's really just kind of different. But to me, it's more thorough in the support end. I don't like getting the calls when people get home. They want 20 more minutes of phone support because something didn't happen right. So I switched the work order to be more almost perfect. Yeah.
Is that on your website or no?
You know what? I don't think I have a link to the work order.
It's okay.
But the website is built for easy use to read for the general person. The blog is really popular too, and I got a little Outlook help, and I did write a book about social media.
Okay.
I just published it last month.
The ebook. There's a link on your site that says ebook.
Yep, and that one is that took me. So I'll tell you guys, I wrote it every Sunday morning during The Sopranos.
Really?
For about 6 months, yeah. That was when I sat and wrote the book.
Oh, you know what? You charge more than $10 for this. Anybody who's reading this book right now, it's not going to be $10 for long. To buy it now, because I'm going to talk her out of this.
You know what?
If you spent 6 months on this book, I don't care if The Sopranos were on or not. Charge more than $10 for that thing.
Yeah, buy it now, because Steve's going to jack up my rates.
That's
you
cool.
know what though? Do you buy many ebooks, Steve?
I used to buy tons.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of comparison shopping in these, and that's about the rate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually had it cheaper before, but
how's it selling?
Pretty good. I've sold, I think, 80 some.
Good. That's great.
And I've done really little on the marketing end, just little things here and there. Right. And I'm actually working to do some other things. I mean, once you write the book, now I can just sell it,
Sure.
But it's a pretty good book. I really like it. And it really goes through kind of all the steps in a workbook style. Like, you can read it through first and then kind of go, okay, that was a lot to absorb. And then the second time you read it, you just chop out each section and go, okay, I get it now, because it really covers the face-to-face events that we talked about earlier too. Like, what do you do with those business cards? They just don't sit there anymore after reading my book.
That's cool. Is it? So it will work for not just technician or support businesses, but for any business?
Yeah, they do work for any business. And you know what? I actually tell people in the repair business that this is a really good, cheap marketing book for you to buy, because it's already been proven through me.
Sure. That
it works. I wrote it, and you're in my industry.
Hey, I'm all about when you learn how to do something really well, sell that information.
Well, and that's the one thing that I think I got lucky with, is outside of doing good software support, is this: I picked up the social media so early, and I just formulated a really good plan of how it worked for me. Yeah. And writing the book was really something I just was like, I'm going to do it. Good. Because I really get a lot of questions about it. I'm like, go buy the book now.
Right, exactly. And it all builds up in your head, and you're like, I gotta just get this out on a file or paper or something, and just it's therapeutic as well. I'm sure.
Well, it's really good for people that want to get socially engaged online too, that are like, you know what, I'm on Facebook, I'm on the Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn. Now what do I do? And it's like,
Right.
well, since you did all that work, you might as well go try to make some money with your business.
Exactly.
That's where it's at. I'm making a lot of money off that.
It sounds like it. So you're expanding, right? I mean, we got to say this again because I don't know if it made it on the recording. The reason there's an echo in the background is because you're in a new office, right? New huge office.
Yep, I'm in Rochester, Minnesota now. I changed my Minneapolis location to be more of a consulting shop, and I opened up a store down here. I'm right on the busiest street in town, 38,000 cars a day. It's really like my big bling. I'm really excited, but you know what, to market a new location, which I think I'm gonna write a book about that next, because it's really a lot of work too. It took me a year to get here, a whole year to open this store, and I'm still sitting in it empty. And I've got now I've got 3 people on staff, and I'm hiring a full-time assistant.
What do you need all the space for?
Well, but mostly because I need room for cubicles for my call center.
Gotcha.
But I'm gonna have to figure out this floor situation, because we can't have people on the phones with this echo.
Yeah, well, once you put all the people in cubicles in there, I'm sure the echo will go away.
I got to get rubber mat floors for the whole place probably anyway. But you know, it's a really cool little house on Broadway. It's neat. And I did buy it big enough to grow into. I didn't want to outgrow it, which I've already been through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, eventually, and this is, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of repair techs out there. If you got that one lady that you don't want to work with, that you know has a lot of problems, shoot her my way. Those kind of women love working with me.
Wow! I'm like, you're gonna get a lot of calls.
Well, you know what? I am the lady that I can handle all the women, no matter what their level is of cattiness, and I want it done now, and my stuff's important, and I just walk through nice and casual, and we get it fixed, and they usually retain me. So
okay, guys, did you hear what she said? She will handle your catty customers. I think you're going to get a lot of calls from that.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, you know what? Here's the one thing I want from your listeners is, as I build my business, maybe let's say in a year or two, you know, if I start getting calls from other states, you know, when I'm doing their software and they're like, hey, I need a hardware helper or something's wrong, you know, whatever. I'm like, who is my best resource? But my friends online now. I'm not going to go to Google and put hardware repair and go to, you know, Kentucky and just call random when I might have someone in my own network.
So what do you want them to do? Join LinkedIn and
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out, but I mean, there's really not one resource I've found for everybody, is there? With everybody kind of cross marketing through all the forums there. I mean,
well, there's the forums. I guess there could be we could start a thread. You know, they could just contact you and just give you their information. I don't know. There's tons of. You tell us what you want.
Well, you know what? I could start a folder in my Outlook if anybody wants to send me their info. I mean, I've seen some other computer repair directories out there, and I don't know. I don't see they don't have the size of what would make it efficient for me. Right. Because I would love to have a directory that I'm like, oh, you're in this state. Oh, let's go find a guy that's local there that we already know from our resources. You know, that to me makes a lot more sense than to go, oh, Google and go to that guy, and we don't know anything about him.
Exactly. I think it's great. I think it's great.
Well, I am working on building a very large call center of personal support where people are treated like a person. They can have the same technician every time. They build a personal relationship. It's going to be hard, but you know what? It's my dream, and you know, it's what I really want is for people to go, I like those guys. They remember the problems, and you know, I don't want to be like that company that Microsoft uses and the other big guys that just have random techs. Right. That's so not where it's going for me.
No, you're so on the right track. I tell my guys all the time, it's actually easier now more than ever to succeed in this business. All you have to do is give good customer support, and you seem like you're all about that. I mean, you care. I mean, if you care, you're in. I mean, even if you care a little bit, you're gonna do okay. But you care a lot, so you're in. It's like that's what it takes. So if anybody else cares out there, you're gonna have an easier time of it. If you find you're not caring, then find something else to do.
I think it's very true, though, that a lot of times my clients are crabby or, you know, ticked off or, you know, like the lady today, she was like, has anybody told you how wonderful you are lately? And I'm like, I get told that a lot. It feels really good. I don't want to lie, but I said, oh, not today, and to me, we have our little bonding moment, but I really made her happy. And that's the whole point is that,
Oh, yeah.
and even there might be that one time where she's not happy with something, but they always come back because you know them.
Yes.
You can't make everybody happy, but you know what I mean? It's,
Sure.
and plus the one thing about support that I think is so important is that you're dealing with people's lives. And this is their life, their computer.
Right.
That's where they do all their personal stuff, the things they don't do at work. They're naughty, and it's like, I've seen a lot of the naughty. It's kind of embarrassing for people to deal with.
Yeah.
And to have that trusting relationship with somebody where they're like, she's not going to judge me because I'm being naughty.
Yeah,
that's
you're
important.
right. You're right. If they're letting you into this little layer of theirs, and you're welcomed.
Yeah, well, sometimes they say it funny, but I mean, plus they're like, you get to see all my stuff. I'm like, you know what? Trust me, I don't care about that stuff. I just, no.
Good. Yeah, that's you're so on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, why don't you tell us? We got to ask this because you brought it up earlier too. What is it like being a girl in the computer repair and support industry? And then we'll go to. Then I'm going to read some emails if you want. If you want to hang on the line, you can help me answer some emails.
Oh, sure. You know what? When I first started on computers at the computer lab, I didn't even feel any difference. To me, I was just, well, actually, I was like the network guy's friend because when anybody asked them for help, they'd go ask Lisa. They could get out of helping.
Right.
And then in the corporate world, I was actually getting, paid pretty decent money to be the know-it-all at the help desk. And I think that when it was me with 12 guys in the server room, becoming their right-hand person really meant a lot to me. And to me, I didn't see it as a female thing. I saw it as I was doing my job and I loved it.
Good.
And it was only until probably the last year that I started feeling this competition with, being in the male-dominated world, because I started finding more people that weren't into what I did, and they would kind of give me some grief, like, what do you mean you don't fix motherboards? What do you mean you don't do that? I'm like, you know what? I don't need to explain myself to you. I got it when I first moved here. One guy down the street told me to pack up and leave already. And I said, and he goes, what do you mean you don't fix hardware? He goes, I'm about to close up my shop. What are you going to do? And I said, well, you know what? I go, I'm not going to get in with you. You obviously don't understand software support. And that to him, he did not get. So I'm like, I'm not going to battle stupidity. Right. I'm just going to keep doing what I do well. And, I just had my Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting, and I've got a couple big companies that were like, oh, you do all that? We need that. So he wouldn't have got that.
No, right.
Yeah,
no, you're
no
fine.
way.
You're fine.
He was already here, and he didn't get that. And I'm new, and I'm going to get it. But you know what? I really, for the most part, I don't have any, I've learned that the kind of techs I want to hire from working with other men and stuff, I've kind of learned how I want to hire these techs, and it comes from being judged maybe, because I got to make sure I have the right kind of techs on that are going to be there for my clients the way I want them to be.
Sure. I think you should be very picky, or however you want to do it. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not real impressed with MCSEs and CCNAs and all these other titles and certifications, so I'm like, I'm more about the person, the people, and the learning. And I think that a lot of guys think that they have to have all the certs and they have to have all that, the A+. I failed A+. Can you wonder why? I don't like hardware.
Right.
But I took the class. I also took Unix too.
Wow.
I know a little Unix. Mm-hmm.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
A little
I did
is
that.
more than I know.
Excuse me. I only took it because I was supporting engineers who needed it,
Yeah.
So I was a good girl and did what the client needed, but yeah.
That's cool.
Well, sure. Well, I'm ready for some emails.
All right. Let's see what we got here. We got okay, William, your Google Voice messages I will play next show. So just so you know, this one's from Dan. Dan says, okay, you're gonna love this one, Lisa. This is so hardware. Because I saw a series of laptop repair videos, so I get a lot of questions about that. Okay, Dan says, regarding soldering new DC connectors to AC power bricks, do you keep a bunch of different size DC connectors on hand to fit the particular brand of laptop you're working on? I'd like to buy some DC connectors for that purpose, but I don't know what sizes to buy to keep in my toolkit. And I told him, I personally didn't. I used to hate stocking things. I don't like having clutter and lots of stuff around. So the less stuff I had, the better. But then unfortunately, I did need DC jacks to do repairs. So I learned how to use DC jacks from Radio Shack. And I bought, if I could get away with going to Radio Shack, buying a size M like Mary or size N like Nancy DC jack and using that, I would end up doing that. So I didn't keep a lot of jacks in stock, and for the Dells, which you can't get the Dell ones at Radio Shack, I would just rip them off of a bad Dell, like a Dell with a bad motherboard, and just use that. So if I had to buy a new one, I did. Other techs do go out and buy them. Steve D'Amico from smdcomputer.net. Dan, I recommend highly giving him a call. He sells jacks. He likes to stock them, so he's the opposite of me. But we both have our ways of doing it, so it's just a matter of preference on that one.
I agree with what you said, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't do laptop repair.
I know, but do you stock a lot of stuff? Do you find it's smart to stock a lot of hardware though?
You know what? I think in my world, what I need to stock is drivers.
Yeah.
Because I deal with a lot of different computer models. So I just picked up a new intern for the next couple months who's from a network school, and I told him it's one of his duties to build my software library.
Nice.
Which, if you think about it, you guys have your hardware stuff, and I need my software stuff.
Exactly.
So I do, for my hardware supplies, I do have tons of power for all the laptops that come in case they're missing.
Yeah.
The power, I do need those. I do have random memory chips and sticks to throw into computers to help them out if they need, a little lift.
Yeah.
I don't sell any hardware either, and I don't sell memory. I order everything online. And I might stock up here in the store, and I might start buying external hard drives too. But for the most part, if I need hardware, I just purchase it and make the client pay for it because I don't want to deal with taxes.
Where do you like to buy stuff?
I buy Crucial for memory.
Okay.
And Crucial is an awesome tool for remote support.
Because you just type in a model of computer, right? And then it tells you what kind of.
Yeah. The scan tool finds it, and then what I normally tell people is, look, I go, if you have a desktop, I can walk you through installing that yourself. And they're like, really? And I said, sure. You got thumb screws. You could take that off. And I walk them through it, the whole thing, and they love it because they actually get to be techie. And then, for $44, they get 2 gigs of RAM. They're thrilled, So
wow.
A lot of them are on 512 still, so that's a good one.
Wow.
And
that's a good price.
Yeah, I've seen that. And then, you know what? For buying anything else, I'm like, I don't know. I usually just go down to the local store here. I go to Micro Center.
Oh yeah, love it.
Micro Center, love Micro Center.
Love it. I just moved from Philly to Florida, and there's no Micro Center down here.
I feel bad for you.
It's okay.
Oh,
you know what? No,
CompUSA.
CompUSA has been bought out by Tiger Direct. So it's now when you walk into any CompUSA that's open, it's basically a Tiger. So it's almost like a Micro Center.
Yeah, you know what? I make my trips to Minneapolis once a week right now I have things I have to do for business, so I go up and spend a couple days there, and I buy everything up there if I need to, and then bring it back down. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do another email here.
Cool.
It's another one from Dan. Has anyone ever asked you to replace a cracked or broken laptop shell or case? If so, how would that? Lisa, these aren't all laptops. Don't worry. Laptop questions.
Yeah, you should see my face. I'm like, Dan should come work for me because Dan probably knows a lot more than I do. Okay, so what are we talking about? A cracked shell?
Cracked shell or case. He goes, if so, how would that work? How would you locate a non-functional laptop or similar make and model and swap cases? Dan, this is all eBay, man. I would definitely look on eBay for if you need a shell or a case. Type the model number of that laptop in eBay. Find one on eBay that's in good condition and use that for the case. Otherwise, you're going to pay the manufacturer like several $100s, more than the laptop's worth, and you'll get a brand new case, but it'll just be too much money. So
you know what? I think in my case, the most I do on the laptops is memory and maybe a screen replacement. And maybe keyboard. And depends. I've torn apart a laptop before that took way too long for me to do a keyboard. It was one of those netbooks.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, the whole thing was apart almost. And I was in a, rebuild panic. And I have I get 100 to 200 emails a day. So for me to sit there for that hour, I'm like, I'm missing emails, which has more money in them.
Yeah.
Those emails are money, you know?
Big. I can see how you felt about that. And rebuilding laptop, taking them apart is easy. Putting them back together is a tough part.
Oh, God. You know, when I took the A+ class and I had to install Windows 98, it was kind of funny. The guy next to me goes, you know, you've got like 12 extra screws. And I said, yeah, I just taped them to the side of the shell case. It still works, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I don't do that anymore. That was a long time ago, but yeah.
You know, what would have been worse is if you just put the wrong screw in the wrong hole and it comes. I've seen they come popping up through the keyboard. So at least you didn't do that.
No, and that was also 10 plus years ago. So
Okay.
I'm much better at watching my screw count.
Good. Let me read one more here from Adam. He says, hey, Steve, I wanted to share this with you in the Podnutz community. AV Comparatives recently released their latest report where they tested and ranked many different antivirus products. It turns out Microsoft Security Essentials, which I was using for the past year, has seemed to become increasingly popular. Has seemed to become increasingly popular, didn't perform as well as some of the others, especially compared to some paid products. Avira Antivirus Premium scored the highest overall, barely. This is good because I used Avira for a couple years and recently switched back after seeing the results for Security Essentials. These results encouraged me to become an Avira reseller. Oh, and in interest of fairness, the Avast Free Edition performed second best overall. Anyway, I just thought this was interesting and thought I would share. Here's the link. I have enclosed the document as well. So he actually put it in a Google URL shortener. It's
cool.
goo.gl/OJ5M. OJ5M.
Well, let me tell you one thing that I've found is that Norton, any version, is a waste of money. I probably take off Norton almost every time I see it on someone's computer that has a virus. I'm like, really? What's the point? and if you guys Google, as a little test here, and if anybody wants to email me and tell me the results, if you Google, and do it right now, Comcast Norton, you will find my blog at the very near top of any Google search. I'm hoping that that's just true for everybody. I wrote a blog out there that absolutely just rips Norton and Comcast to shreds because it honestly is the biggest waste of product I've ever seen. And people are paying me to have it taken off. And so I shoot them right to the refund page of Norton if they bought it. And if they didn't, I tell them to complain to Comcast.
Wow.
I'm doing a Norton Comcast job tomorrow.
Look,
I'm removing Norton and fixing that virus that got right through there.
I sold my. I got what you're saying. I sold my shop about a year and a half ago. I hated Norton all through the years, especially because it got bloated and Norton Internet Security, and it would just crash systems. Like the way I would fix some system would be just to remove Norton. But then in 2009. They released what I thought was a great antivirus. Just the antivirus. If you bought Norton Antivirus, it was slimmed down, it was fast, and for me it worked great. I mean, I tested it out on my bench machines. It found a lot of stuff that actually tried to creep onto those machines. So I was happy with it. But only the antivirus, not the whole Internet Security Suite. And that was 2009. I don't know how it is now. So
Well, you know what? If people call me with a virus, that's in my interview process to ask them what antivirus they're using. And the minute they say Norton, I'm like, okay, I almost feel guilty.
What do you use?
Well, my preferred is Microsoft Security Essentials backed up with the Brother Malwarebytes with license.
Okay.
And those are my favorites. They're very affordable. They're easy to run. They don't scan your system to death, and you can schedule it pretty well.
Right.
And the Malwarebytes, to me, I always do a little proof test with people when they install the license. I always say, now let's go to goggle.com, and it's Goggle, and it has a virus on there, so it always pops up the malware blocker. So I show people this actually is working. And
Goggle.com has a virus on it?
I believe so.
Cool.
It always gets blocked on my Malwarebytes. Now, that's not to say that people, I mean, I've gotten the pop-up with LinkedIn, the Malwarebytes, and it pops it up because sometimes that TripIt flags it. That is one of their applications. But for the most part, I'm on my Dell at home surfing like crazy and it never pops up, so I feel pretty safe with it. So those are the two I use, and those are products that Call It Girl uses when we take off other people's. Some ones that I've seen out there that I've never seen in the shop is ESET, I've removed Avast due to operating system glitches. It wasn't due to a virus.
Okay.
Avira, I haven't had a problem with either. And that Avast, I think, it's got the gaming silent mode.
Oh, I don't know the new Avast. I haven't used Avast in a couple years.
I gotta say that the clients don't get viruses, but they get a lot of downtime from that problem.
Really?
Yeah, it's slow. And I watched it today. The thing was just a cooking while I was in there. And I said, really, you don't need this thing to be running all the time.
Right.
And so we scheduled scans for her instead, and she's happy with that. But the AVG11, I just removed that from a virus computer, so that didn't work. And some lady on the radio told her listeners to download that, and the guy got a virus right away. So
some lady on the radio.
So he told me he went and downloaded it. I go, man, you got a virus already. What is up with AVG? They are not good anymore.
No, it's all cyclic. It's all cyclic with these virus companies, antivirus companies. It really is. You never know who's going to be the next good one. So. Yeah,
you know what? And plus, I think those other ones, what are the Trend? It's a computer slowdowner.
Yeah, big time.
In fact, that one actually has more problems with people trying to get their computers just to even start. And then Trend and McAfee. Yeah, McAfee, you gotta be really careful, man. Every company is like sneaking their security scan through. That Adobe, anytime you try to download Adobe, you don't even have an option. You're getting Microsoft security scan.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, and I've been trying to figure out a way to get around that, and you can't.
That's because Adobe got caught with their pants down one too many times, just making programs that just are like so vulnerable that I guess Windows is like, all right, Adobe, we're gonna just scan everything.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. They're kind of like the Comcast. It's like, we want to protect everything you do on your computer,
right.
Not just your broadband.
Right.
I don't understand why companies like to delve into other things that they can't support. Period. If McAfee's security scan screwed up a computer, is Adobe responsible now because they downloaded it? I mean, really?
Right.
Who pays the bill?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Make us pay for Flash, then we don't have to deal with that. Seriously.
You think?
I about cry every time someone calls up Norton. I'm like, okay, here's how we're going to get your money back, because I can't. I don't mean to cry, but I'm just like, it's so tiring to say, yeah, this free product they gave you, now you have a virus.
Yeah, no, McAfee's not on my top of my list, not even close.
I don't know. I kind of just like the more affordable ones that don't slow you down.
They don't slow you down, but I mean, Security Essentials is weak. I think it's quiet. I often wondered if it was ever doing anything, and I guess I didn't look at enough of the grades here. But just from that email we just read, it's not. I don't think it's getting good grades as far as it's non-intrusive. But is it doing anything? You know what?
I've seen it. I have clients that call and say, Lisa, it says clean this computer. I think it's clean my computer or clean computer, and it pops up. But honestly, it's not as strong. Antivirus world, to have a real-time license, like with malware or SaaS or one of those.
Right.
That's what you get this, because it's not even antivirus. We're talking about malware and spyware and things that companies can't really say they're good at.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, in fact, one lady said, do I even need anything but Malwarebytes? I go, honestly, if something gets through Malwarebytes, we'll support it. Because it's so rare.
Yeah.
It's so rare that one gets one.
Lisa, I keep losing you. Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Okay, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, just in a nutshell, it's kind of like, why have all these fluffy programs on there that don't do anything when really you're just trying to surf your internet? Norton blocks half your sites you want to go allow, and was that me?
Did you just hear something there?
Oh, the beep. Yeah. Sorry. Right. Anyway, might be.
That's okay.
I used to talk on my headset on the computer. I'm such a nerd.
No, that's good stuff. We need to hear this. But before I lose your connection, we probably should end off.
Okay.
I really appreciate you coming on the show. And if you want to come on again, definitely sign up in the future. I know you have other topics that you wanted to talk about, so we could definitely definitely do that.
When I heard you guys were looking, I was like, oh man, you could book me every week.
There you
always
go.
something.
You should start. You should start your own podcast.
Should I? In an echo room like this?
You could do a couple improvements.
Yeah.
All right. Well, definitely. Is there anything you want to say before we end off? Anything you want to plug, or anything like that?
Oh, I guess if anybody wants to add or get added to my LinkedIn or my email newsletters or any of my marketing, you can go to my website. I have a blog feeder. I haven't been blogging as much as I used to, but I do try to blog about the average person, computer repair needs. And I have an email newsletter I send out 2 times a month with a variety of tips and tricks and promotions I do.
Cool.
And my LinkedIn, you can just add me as a contact there. I have a Facebook. I think it's Call That Girl / Call That Girl Help Desk.
Okay.
Which I'm just getting more friendly in that again. I kind of give it a break. And
Facebook.
And you can always find me online. Google me. I'm around. You can email me. I sometimes get calls. If I have a minute, I'll talk with folks. But
Cool.
I'm out there. I'm pretty friendly.
All right. Well, there you go. It's callthatgirl.biz. You guys know where to find her. There's many places you could go to reach her. Don't take up a lot of her time. Send her. Don't call her if you don't have to. But
here's what I like the word: referring partner. I'm there. I will help those ladies. You know what though? I actually have 40% of my clients are men.
Really?
Believe it or not. Yep.
I believe it.
Oh, yep.
Well, I want to thank everybody who tuned into the podcast. Everybody's watching. Everybody's listening. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. What's that, Lisa?
I said thank you guys, everybody that was on the call here.
No problem. I'm sure they appreciate all the info you gave.
And I'm going to go back and read all the chat logs too.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm here.
And if anybody wants to stay tuned in with us, we're going to do Linux for the rest of us at 8:30 tonight. So that's another show. If you guys didn't even know we did that, we do that 8:30 every Monday night. It's live. You can go to podnutz.com. It's right on the homepage. It's a show, even if you're not interested in Linux, listen to a couple shows, and then you're going to say to yourself, I guarantee you're going to say to yourself, let me just try Linux. That's what's going to happen. So believe me, give it a shot. Thanks, everybody, again. We'll see you all next time.